The Education Secretary, Gavin Williamson, who joins us now live. You're talking principally about this new money for tutoring. What do you want it to be used for?
Well, we set out last year ambitious plans to really expand tutoring programmes. We've seen that rolled out in the last year. 250,000 children were signed up to it. We see it works. It works in terms of actually helping children catch up in terms of what they've missed. So we want to see more children benefit from it. That's why you'll be seeing 2 million courses, 2 million children being able to benefit from that.
Good morning, Mr. Williamson. I just want to ask you about this new vaccination programme, talking about 12 to 15-year-olds and possibly a booster programme as well. Just clarify what exactly you want to do and how this will happen.
Of course. Well, as a parent myself, I think most parents want to have a place where they can choose, and the reassurance of being able to choose as to whether their child is going to be vaccinated. We're, of course, waiting for JCVI to come up with their decision on this, and we hope to hear that in the not-too-distant future. But as you can understand, the NHS, which has been doing the most amazing programme of vaccination, is very much geared up towards how this would be rolled out. We already see many millions of children getting vaccinated every single year within our schools. So it's a very, very well understood way of actually rolling out vaccinations. But we do wait on JCVI, and we do hope that will be soon as to hear as to whether we can get the get-go on that.
And is that decision, there's some not total clarity on this, will the decision be the children's or their parents, or what?
Well, there's always incredibly well-established procedures for vaccination. So it will be the exact same procedures in terms of vaccination for COVID as against vaccination for children on all other areas where they would get vaccinated on. And it is about always in the first hand seeking out parental consent.
I just want, as a parent myself, and I know you are a parent as well, obviously, as you said there, how are your children feeling about going back to school? I mean, I know mine are quite sort of concerned and confused, actually. I wondered what your thoughts were on this.
Well, I think it's really important for us all to wish all those children, those children who are going to school for the first time, maybe those children who are changing school, but also just all children who are sort of getting ready this morning to get on out back to school. There'll be a sense of excitement, I imagine also a sense of nervousness. But what we are wanting to do is to get the school experiences back to normal as possible, to pre-pandemic levels. To make sure that children are having that experience of being in the classroom as consistently as possible, not having to isolate. Your children, like my children, probably in the last academic year, despite not having COVID, have been in the position of missing out on classes as a result of having to isolate because they've been had a close contact. That's something that isn't going to be happening this year, as it isn't for the adult population who are also double jabbed.
Now, we were talking to Robert Halfon on the Education Select Committee, as you know. He says that it's a national disaster that so many children are now lagging behind. Some obviously will have been able to use the time to keep up with the curriculum. Others have not. And the cost of that in financial terms, and indeed education terms, is huge. Why? And I'll put a question to you from one of our viewers, actually. This is from Sean, who says, why were the schools not made to go in for longer terms and shorter holidays to help children catch up with education? Lots of people were asking that just a few months ago.
So that's why we rolled out the summer programme of schools, and you saw 75% of schools secondary schools delivering these amazing summer programmes. I had the opportunity to visit Wombourne High School, see the amazing programme of events that they're laying on for pupils, and you're seeing pupils really benefiting for it. That's why we've been rolling out the tutoring programme. That's why we've been putting extra resource into schools so they can target some of those efforts. Because, you know, Rob's right that, you know, the experience of children will be different. Sort of every child has a different life experience. And what we've been aiming to do is target resource at school so they can target the children who need that help the most.
Lots of questions coming in for you this morning. Let's talk about grade inflation. This from Stephen, who said, how are you going to get grade inflation back under control for GCSEs and A-levels?
Yeah, so what we're aiming to do is we've always recognised as a glide path getting sort of a grading back to a more normal process. We'll obviously be consulting more widely as to how we're proposing to do that, and but the first step, and it's an important step, as we announced back in July before the summer holidays, is actually what exams are going to be looking like next year. So the next step is making sure all children, whether they're sitting their GCSEs or A-levels, are sitting exams, and we're getting again back to a more usual pattern of activity, and then looking at how we bring grading more in line with what we've seen in the past.
But the pupils are going back to school now, and they still don't know. Their teachers don't know. Well, why is it taking so long?
Well, they do know. I mean, we sent out, and you maybe didn't have the opportunity to read it, but an extensive consultation back in July as to what this would look like, what the principles of how the exams would be run, what are the mitigations that would be in place. And we did that back in July, and of course did a statement to the House of Commons as part of that.
Another question from a viewer. A number of teachers are saying you're not providing enough COVID catch-up money. In the UK, apparently, this is from the viewer, you're spending £50 per pupil. That's according to the Association of School and College Leaders. In the United States, they're spending £1,600 per head. In the Netherlands, it's £2,500. The question is, are English pupils worth less then?
Well, we've been investing in schools continuously over the last 2 years. We've seen 2 years of some of the largest increases in school budget funding. Ever since the Prime Minister came into post and I started as Education Secretary, we've had that for the last 2 years. But we're looking forward to the future. We've got the comprehensive spending review. We already announced a package of an extra £3 billion to help on catch-up funding. The Prime Minister has been clear that, as we go to the spending review, there's more to come, there's more to do. That's what we're looking at doing. But, as you'll appreciate, we have to have that negotiation with the Chancellor, and sadly, it's not something that we can do on GBNews.
Another question, actually, a few people asking the same thing. I mean, it's not ideal coming into autumn and winter, but I guess you did think possibly about the idea of outdoor learning so that we could continue to keep our children in school. Was that ever something that realistically could have happened or would happen?
Well, there are obviously some lessons that are always carried out outdoors, and part of it. But, we believe there's a whole system of other measures that can be undertaken that means that we can keep children in schools. That might be a continuation of asymptomatic testing being taken place in terms of schools. If that's the advice of local public health directors, it may mean that children are asked to continue to wear masks in communal areas, or we'll have to look at separating different children from different groups to minimise the spread of infection. But all of these measures within the toolbox of local public health bodies working with schools, with a real focus of ensuring that schools remain open, because we realise how important it is. And we've all spent a summer being able to enjoy a whole set of new freedoms. Freedoms to go to sporting events, to festivals. And it's right that as our, as social lives have returned to normal, it's right that our school lives for our children also return to normal as well.
Gavin Williamson, Education Secretary, it's good of you to join us this morning. Thank you for your time.